Have you ever paused amidst the chaos of life, looked into the mirror, and asked yourself, is this truly the life I want to live, or just a copy of what others expect from me? In this world full of pressures, it's easy to get swept up by invisible expectations from family, society, and even ourselves. These standards act like invisible walls, blocking us from showing our true selves. Do you feel exhausted from constantly trying to please others, striving to meet every standard, while your heart longs for something different, more authentic and profound? That is the call from within you, a call you may have ignored for too long. But now you are allowed to pause, to breathe, to listen, and to ask yourself, am I living my own life, or am I just living for others? Remember, choosing to live authentically is not an act of selfishness but a courageous step toward freeing yourself. And you are not alone on this journey. Together, we will explore how to dare to choose yourself to begin the life you truly deserve. There's a somewhat painful truth that few people want to admit: society doesn't really want you to be yourself. It sounds harsh, maybe even cruel, but if you dare to look closely, you'll see it woven subtly and persistently into everything around us. From a young age, you were fed countless standards, what's right and wrong, through the eyes of adults and society. You must be obedient, be smart, be successful, be proper at all times. These weren't just suggestions, they were molds tightly pressed into your mind, shaping you into an acceptable version. Over time, you've been locked inside an invisible cage without even realizing it, the cage of expectation and pressure. Imagine this: every day you're forced to play a role that isn't truly yours. Smiling when you don't want to, appearing strong while you're hurting, saying yes when you desperately want to say no just to please others. But with every act like that, you lose a piece of yourself, a deep part of your soul. The harder you try to keep up with society's blueprint, the further you drift from your true self. A notable study from Stanford University found that 85% of young Americans feel lost and directionless, overwhelmed by societal pressures that drown out their inner voice and personal dreams. These numbers serve as a warning: it's not just you. Many are struggling inside this invisible cage and slowly losing their sense of self. Even more frightening is the fact that society rarely acknowledges this openly. The values it praises revolve around perfection, success, and acceptance. And to attain those, you're expected to suppress, hide, and smooth over your contradictions and raw emotions. That's why you can feel lonely even in a crowd, exhausted even when everything looks fine on the surface. But here's the bright side: awareness is the first step to freedom. When you begin to clearly see the cage, only then can you start finding the way to unlock it and step out. You don't have to be perfect by anyone else's standards. You just need the courage to be yourself, with all your light and shadow, your triumphs and your mess, in order to reclaim true peace and happiness. In the end, you'll realize that every time you choose to live authentically, you're not just freeing yourself from invisible chains, you're creating the strength to live fully and truthfully. And that's something society can never take away from you. When you think about choosing yourself, it doesn't mean becoming selfish or neglecting those around you. In fact, it's the first step toward building healthier and more genuine relationships. Because only when you truly understand and love yourself can you offer love and care to others wholeheartedly, not as a form of blind sacrifice that leaves you drained. Imagine a water jug. If you don't take care of it, don't refill it, eventually there will be nothing left to pour. But if the jug is full, you can nourish plants, share with friends, and support others without fear of running dry. Choosing yourself is like deciding to refill that jug so you can move forward with strength and clarity. Interestingly, when you begin to prioritize your own needs, emotions, and values, you'll notice the world around you starts to respond differently. You're no longer chasing social expectations or invisible pressures. Instead, you live a life that reflects your inner truth. This creates a powerful sense of alignment, often referred to by Carl Jung as synchronicity, when your mind and the universe harmonize and the right people, opportunities, and events begin to show up as if by magic. However, choosing yourself isn't always easy. It requires facing your inner shadows, your fears, doubts, and old habits that try to keep you stuck in your comfort zone. That's why this is not just a simple decision, but an ongoing journey that demands patience and courage. There will be moments when you want to give up, when voices, both external and internal, try to pull you back. But if you stay committed, you'll begin to see that every time you choose yourself, you are building a stronger version of who you are, one that is not easily shaken by societal pressure or the expectations of others. Ultimately, choosing yourself isn't just about you, it's about how you inspire and influence the community around you. When you live authentically and courageously, you not only transform your own life, but you also become a beacon of light for others, encouraging them to step out of the shadows of self-doubt and begin their own journey back to themselves. When you begin the journey of choosing yourself, one of the most important steps is daring to face the shadow within, the parts of you that you've long tried to avoid, suppress, or even deny. Carl Jung referred to this as the shadow, the unconscious aspects of ourselves that carry our weaknesses, fears, past mistakes, and the sides we don't want to admit exist. But the more we reject these parts, the more we remain trapped in cycles of pain, self-sabotage, and a persistent sense of disorientation. Did you know that true transformation only begins when you accept and confront your shadow? Avoiding it only makes it stronger, like a beast hiding in the dark, waiting for the moment you're most vulnerable. But when you choose to face it, you begin learning how to transform fear into strength, turn flaws into gifts, and most importantly, realize that you are not your mistakes or imperfections. A very real example can be seen in people who have faced major crises in life, loss, failure, or even depression. Those who embrace their pain rather than suppress it often emerge with the deepest spiritual growth. They don't let suffering become a never-ending burden, but instead use it as a launching pad to rebuild themselves, find new meaning, and forge a different path. The powerful truth is this: when you learn to accept your shadow, you're no longer ruled by self-judgment or guilt. Instead of being stuck in endless self-criticism, you begin to understand that imperfection is simply part of your journey toward wholeness. Forgiving yourself becomes the deepest form of healing, opening the door to inner freedom and limitless creativity. Of course, confronting your shadow is rarely easy or comfortable. It demands persistence, courage, and immense patience with yourself. But what you gain is a clarity you've never known, a clearer vision of who you truly are, what truly matters, and most importantly, a solid inner strength that no external storm can shake. So remember, your shadow is not your enemy, it is your teacher, your companion on the path back to your true self. And when you dare to embrace both your light and your darkness, that is when you truly begin to live a full, authentic life. The next step on the journey of choosing yourself is learning how to truly listen to yourself. Not the noise of the outside world, but the quiet yet steadfast voice within. In today's fast-paced world filled with endless information, demands, and societal pressures, connecting with your own intuition and genuine emotions is becoming increasingly difficult. Yet it is there, in silence and mindfulness, that you discover the compass guiding your most important decisions. At times, you may feel confused or uncertain about the vague sensations or subtle signs arising from within. That's completely normal. After all, for many years, you've been conditioned to follow the voices of others. Family, friends, society, instead of your own. Jung once said that intuition is one of the purest ways to connect with the deep unconscious self. It's not logical reasoning, but a direct knowing, a quiet voice in your gut signaling what's right or wrong for you. One powerful lesson many people learn when they begin to trust their intuition is this: decisions rooted in self-trust often lead to far better outcomes than those made under pressure or imposed by external standards. You might leave a stable but unfulfilling job, or end a relationship that has drained your energy, even if it means disappointing others. These steps may feel terrifying, lonely, or even guilt-ridden, but they are acts of honesty with yourself. In fact, listening to your intuition is also a way to reduce anxiety and stress in life. When you learn to trust your inner knowing, you become less shaken by conflicting opinions and unrealistic expectations. You'll know when to pause, when to move forward, and most importantly, you'll no longer feel lost in the maze of life. I've seen many people go through this phase with tears and sweat, but eventually, they all say it was the moment they awakened, that it opened a new depth within them, bringing clarity about their core values and the life purpose they had always been seeking. So if you're feeling lost or unsure about the path you're on, try pausing, letting go, and truly listening to the voice within. Gradually, you'll realize that within you lies a profound wisdom, a natural self waiting to be awakened, ready to guide you not toward someone else's calling, but toward your own. Kai ben bat dao chan chin min. Mot the doi sao sak se zay ra trong kach ben nin and kak moi quan he sung quan. Ban kong kun ko gang nyo ju and hung ket noi lam ban met moi. Kung kong che theo sutsong nin tu nuoi kok nu mot lu thwak. To budap cho noi kodon he su batten ben trong. Thay veo du, ban bat dao zay dung and hung ran gioi lan man kong fi de dong qua voi the gioi. Malada tau ra kong john cho su tun trong va tin yu tuk su fat tryan. Du nai ne ko ve don john. And hung tuk te, Vik datare ran gioi aro rong laimoti han dong vio kung condam vakanthiat. Ko the ban se kim thay I nai kai noi kong voi ai du. He somat dmot moi quan heathen quin. And hung he no rang, mot rang gioi kong phi lar mot buk tuong non catch. Ma la mot ke ka jup ban va nuoi kak yu va tun trong nao han. Kai ben juduok su aro rong vi gioi han qua ban then. Ban kung dang day cho nuoi kak catch doi su voi ban. Bang su tun trong. Tran trong va chan ton. Mot tuk te dang chu y lan yu engian q tom ly hok de chi ra rang and hung nuoi beat thiat lap rang gioi ka nan thuong ko suc ko tin than tot han. It by stress va kem thay hai long han voi kuok song. Ho beat catch quan ly kim suk. Tran xa kak moi quan he tu cuc va tap trung veo vik zay dung. And hung ket noi ho tro lon now. De chin lamin chung cho thay rang. Vik chan min kong chi la trian ka nan. Makanon hung tich cuc den catch ban tuong tak va fat trien trong song dong. Tai nin. Quatrin hok catch dat ra rangi oi kung day Thursday thatch. Ko and hung luke ben se fi doi mat voi su fan kang. Tam chi tu and hung nuoi ben tung rat than thiat. Ho ko the kong hu hok kong chap nan su thay doi qua ban. And hung dung de du keen ban chuan byuk. He no rang. Ban kong the keem sot kim suk he fan ung qua nuoi kok. And hung ben hon ton ko the keem sot catch ban fan ung va ju vung jia tri qua ban then. Tuk te, kai ben kien din voi vik bao ve ran gioi qua min. Ban se Thursday hut duok and hung nuoi tuk sufu hop. And hung nuoi sin song dong han kung ben tren kun duong song chan that va tron ven. And hung nuoi nai se kong yu ka ben thay doi de fu hop, ma se yu thuong ben vi ben la chin ban voi tat ca diem man. Diem yu? Vasie and hung ka chien chuatron ven. Du nai chin lamin chung aro rong not cho suc man qua vik chan chin min. No kong chi jup ben tu du va han fuck han. Ma kan jup ban zay dung and hung moi quan he sao sak va ben vung. And hung moi quan he ma ban ko the dua veo va fat trien kung now. Vive, dung nai noi kong kai kan thiat. Va dung so hai kai tau ra and hung rang gioi lan man cho kuok song qua ban. De chin la byuk tip theo trong han trin tu yu thuong va tu du qua ban. Mot byuk ma kong chi thay doi ben ma kan thay doi ca the gioi sung quan ban. When you begin to choose yourself, a profound shift occurs in the way you view relationships around you. You no longer try to hold onto connections that drain you, nor do you chase validation from others like a remedy for loneliness or inner insecurity. Instead, you begin to build healthy boundaries, not to shut the world out, but to create space where respect and true love can grow. This may sound simple, but in reality, setting clear boundaries is an act of immense courage and necessity. You might feel guilty saying no to someone or fear losing a familiar relationship. But remember, a boundary is not a wall that separates, it's a bridge that helps both sides understand and respect each other better. When you are clear about your limits, you are also teaching others how to treat you with respect, appreciation, and sincerity. A striking truth backed by many psychological studies is this: people who know how to set personal boundaries tend to have better mental health, less stress, and greater satisfaction in life. They manage their emotions more effectively, stay away from toxic relationships, and focus on nurturing connections that offer mutual support. This proves that choosing yourself is not just a personal decision, but one that has a ripple effect on your social well-being and growth. However, the process of learning to set boundaries is not without its challenges. There will be times when you face resistance, even from those you were once close to. They may not understand or accept your transformation. But don't let that make you hesitate. You cannot control how others feel or react, but you can control your response and stand firm in your values. In truth, when you consistently protect your boundaries, you will naturally attract the right people, those who are willing to walk beside you on a path of authenticity and wholeness. These are the ones who won't ask you to shrink or change to fit in, but will love you for being your truest self, with all your strengths, flaws, and unfinished stories. That is the clearest proof of the power of choosing yourself. It not only makes you freer and more fulfilled, it also helps you build deeper, more meaningful, and lasting relationships. The kind of relationships you can count on, grow in, and thrive with. So don't hesitate to say no when it's needed. And don't be afraid to draw healthy boundaries for your life. This is the next step in your journey towards self-love and freedom, a step that doesn't just transform you, but also changes the world around you. This is the moment you stand at the greatest crossroads in your journey of choosing yourself, a time when every fear, doubt, and external pressure is waiting to pull you back to the old path. You can clearly hear the voices around you. Don't change, people won't accept you, you'll be alone. And within your own mind, quieter voices echo, am I strong enough? Should I really give up the safety of the familiar? But it's precisely at this moment that your true strength is tested and awakened. You begin to realize that choosing yourself is not an easy decision, but a courageous path full of thorns. It's painful. It's lonely. Yet within the very pain, you start to taste a kind of freedom you've never known. You begin to understand that change is not the enemy. Fear is the real barrier that's kept you from becoming who you truly are. At this point, the fiercest inner battles begin, between your old self and your emerging self, between the illusion of safety and the reality of freedom. And it's also the moment when masks fall away, when every lie and societal expectation begins to crumble, revealing your truest self, flawed but incredibly powerful. Choosing yourself is not the end, it's the beginning of a new journey. A journey where you stop living solely for others and start living for yourself in your own way. This is the emotional breakthrough, the awakening where you learn to fully embrace yourself, the fears, the wounds, and the deep strength that's always been there. And remember, you are not alone. The struggles, the moments of weakness, they are part of growth. As long as you keep going, freedom and happiness await you ahead, a life you fully own, no longer bound by the expectations of others. When you begin to enter the final stage of your journey to choosing yourself, you'll realize that this path is not just about personal transformation. It's an expansion of the heart and soul. It's the moment you understand that true strength doesn't come from suppressing emotions or hiding who you are, but from complete acceptance. Embracing both your light and the shadows you once tried to avoid. Along the way, you'll gradually learn how to establish healthy boundaries with the world around you. Not to shut yourself off or isolate, but to protect your inner peace and energy. This may mean letting go of certain relationships that no longer serve you, but it also opens the door to people and situations that genuinely respect and support you. This is a pivotal turning point because only when you know how to honor yourself can you offer love in a complete and sustainable way. A fresh realization that often arises at this stage is the awakening of your intuition, a quiet companion you may have overlooked for years. When you learn to truly listen to your inner voice, you're no longer driven by external pressures or the desire to please others. Your intuition becomes a compass, guiding you toward what truly matters and aligns with your essence, helping you make decisions based not only on logic, but on deep emotional truth. Interestingly, recent scientific studies have shown that living authentically not only improves mental health, but also has a positive impact on physical well-being. Research indicates that when we accept ourselves, stress levels decrease significantly, the immune system strengthens, and our ability to bounce back from life's pressures increases dramatically. This is clear proof that inner transformation isn't just a spiritual revolution. It's a powerful form of holistic healing. And remember, the journey of choosing yourself is continuous. There is no final destination. Every day brings a new chance to reaffirm your worth and self-love, to recalibrate when necessary, and to expand your inner freedom. The most important thing is that you never give up on living your truth, no matter how tough the road may get. Because when you live authentically, you not only change your own life, you inspire others to walk toward the light you radiate. And that is the most precious gift you can offer this world. Choosing yourself is not merely a decision. It's a commitment to living truthfully, a journey back to the purest source of energy within you. When you dare to face yourself, to acknowledge both your darkness and the wounds that haven't yet healed, you ignite a powerful flame that helps you stand strong in this ever-changing life. This journey is not for those who seek to avoid difficulty, but it is the path to true freedom. Freedom from the expectations of others, freedom from the invisible fears that once held you back. You are the only one who can walk this path, and no one else can take those steps for you. I would love to hear your thoughts, your questions, and your own stories about this journey. Leave a comment below so we can share, grow, and expand our awareness together. If this video resonated with you in any way, don't hesitate to hit like, share it to spread this positive energy to others, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next inspiring message. And remember, no matter how rough the path gets, you are never alone. We're walking this road together, growing stronger with every step. Choose yourself because that is the most precious gift you can give to your own life.